Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In the previous video, we showed how apus misrepresented the Islamic position, the Islamic narrative on the Kaaba. Today, inshallah, we will show how fallacious his argument is. I think many brothers have shown that already. However, for the purpose of making this series complete, I don't want to leave out any of his points. So let's go and listen to apus. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
A few days ago, I had a very respectful discussion with these very friendly Muslim apologists, in which I made the outrageous claim that Islam treats the Kaaba as this center of worship for the Almighty Allah and for Abrahamic religion, but in reality, the Kaaba is entirely disconnected from Abrahamic religion, from history, and that it is merely an Islamic adoption from pagan times. To build my argument, I used the premise that the Quran says that the Kaaba was the first house built for Allah, and that Allah tasked Abraham with proclaiming this message of the Kaaba and of pilgrimage to the Kaaba to humanity. The point here is that if that was indeed true, if Allah in the past, in Abraham's time, did indeed give Abraham this big task, then this would of course mean that we would find the Kaaba somewhere in Abrahamic religion. This would mean we could verify historically that the Kaaba was indeed a place of pilgrimage and worship from around the world. This is why I say, if that was true, we would find the Kaaba as a central element within biblical Abrahamic tradition. This is supporting evidence that Islam is false, unless you can prove us wrong and find us some piece of evidence and some explanation as to how exactly the Kaaba was this universal place of worship and this central place, the central house of Allah, but somehow it got lost from the memory of mankind and from the memories of all the Jews and Christians. Islam is nonsense.
Now you guys understand the problem, right? Sometimes you don't need to read a lot about philosophy to know that certain arguments are completely fallacious. I, as a Muslim, don't believe in the Bible. I believe the Bible is an unreliable source. And I don't believe that the Jewish rabbis were honest about the transmission of the Torah. So that's my belief. How can you come to me and say, I'm going to prove to you that your belief in Islam is false, and I'm going to use this document which you think is unreliable? How on earth does that work? To understand the stupidity of this argument, let me give this analogy. Imagine that we have a father, a son, and a daughter. The father and the son live in the UK and the daughter lives in Yemen. After 20 years, the father passed away and left 2 houses. He didn't write any will. The son fabricated a will in which he wrote that his father gave the 2 houses to him. The daughter went back to the US to get her share of the inheritance. The son told her that the father gave the 2 houses to him and showed her the fabricated will. The daughter didn't trust the son and went to the court and sued him, accusing him of fabricating the father's will. Now, thinking about this, imagine if the judge in the court turned to the daughter and said, if you claim that the father gave anything to you, then show me that from this will which you accuse your brother of fabricating. Just imagine how stupid that would be. She doesn't trust her brother, she's accusing him of fabricating the will, and the judge is asking her to prove her claims from the same document that she accuses her brother of fabricating. That's exactly what we are dealing with here. We as Muslims don't trust the Jewish rabbis who transmitted the Torah to us, nor we trust Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John. If we trust their transmission of their tradition, then we would be Christian or Jewish. Then why would the Quran condemn the Jews and Christians and accuse them of tampering with the message of God, tampering with the text? And you know what? You may have a point. If historians treat the Bible as a reliable source, you as an atheist, you're not a Muslim, you're not a Christian, you're an atheist, you should be following historical evidence. Do historians believe that the Bible is a reliable source? And the answer is absolutely not.
Is it fact? Is anything in there historical fact?
Very little, probably.
And it's not just atheists and Muslims. Even some Christians accuse the Jews of tampering with the text. Let's look at this statement by Justin the Martyr. Justin Martyr was a 2nd century Christian apologist and philosopher. Let's read from the 5th line. You appear to me not to have heard the scriptures, which I said they had stolen away. For such as have been quoted are more than enough to prove the points in dispute. In this text, Justin the Martyr accuses the Jews of removing some of the text, some of the prophecies on Jesus from the Old Testament. Let's go to another source, John Chrysostom, 5th century church father. Here John is talking about the prophecies in Matthew 2:23 about Jesus. And he came and dwelt in a city called Nazareth, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophets, he shall be called a Nazarene. So the prophets in the Old Testament said that Jesus shall be called a Nazarene. The problem is this prophecy is not to be found in the Old Testament, and this is the opinion of John Chrysostom. Let's read from the 3rd line. And what manner of prophet said this? Be not curious, nor over busy, for many of the prophetic writings have been lost. And this one may see from the history of the chronicles, for being negligent and continually falling into ungodliness. Some they suffered to perish, others they themselves burnt up and cut to pieces. Let's go to the next one, Theophylact, 12th century father. Here he's talking about the same prophecy. And he says, while the other Matthew speaks of the return from Egypt to Nazareth, which took place later, which prophet said this? It's not to be found now, for many books have been lost because of both the carelessness of the Hebrews and the frequent captivities. So I think that's enough. I mean, you have Muslims who think that the Bible is unreliable. Historians think that the Bible is unreliable. Even some Christians admit that the Bible is not reliable. And apus wants to falsify an Islamic claim using the Bible. So let's repeat again. Apus, Muslims don't believe that the Bible is reliable. Muslims do not trust the narrative of the church fathers and the Jewish rabbis. To come to Muslims and demand that they find the Kaaba and other Islamic rituals and practices from this book that they don't see as a reliable source shows that you are completely out of touch with reason and logic. And to believe that this is a great argument which is going to falsify Islam, and to have thousands of likes to videos which contain such arguments, and to be interviewed by atheist channels to present this argument is absolutely mind-blowing. If this guy and his hilarious arguments is the best Islam haters can offer, then you guys are gonna have problems, believe me. Anyways, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. And stay tuned because there are more videos that will make apus regret making this argument. Jazakumullahu khairan for watching. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.